Do you remember the first time as a band that you kind of shared a conversation where you all connected and it felt like it all fell into place?
I think it's the beginning.
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
It was always like quite organic, like Joey would say.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think you're so right. Yeah, I think as soon as we just got Nick and Josie to complete our lineup, yeah, I think that's when it really, really, I mean, we've never, it's not like we've had a conversation about it. But yeah, the feeling that when we're all just together in a room making music and playing together, I think that's just, when that feeling comes out the most.
Yeah, I mean, I joined the band a bit later, and then Josie was, I guess, the last person to click into place.
Yeah.
And for me, like once Josie was in on bass, that for me was, we did a couple of gigs, the current lineup, and it just, it was awesome. It felt really good playing live as a band and just hanging out as well. Just really easy.
When you first started off, you kind of had a rotating lineup to begin with before it fell into place?
Yeah,
we did. A lot of people.
Yeah, it was really great because we were just lucky enough. We were lucky enough to have our friends. Who were they? Matthias, who just played with us at the live stream. Paul, hello Paul, love you. Harry Deacon, fabulous man, and George.
And
George.
Sarah.
Oh yeah, and Sarah from the Pearl Heart. Yeah, God, we had loads. Yeah. And Andy Becker,
so many.
Our friend Andy.
So many.
Yeah, God, we've had so many. Honestly, to be honest with you, like the show, it used to be a bit stressful because we'd like sort of book in these gigs. Not being able to play. I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. I could not play guitar to save my life, really, because I just no idea what I was doing. Agostina had learnt keyboards like pretty much like 2 months, like a month prior to like us playing our first gig. So like every single gig we'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll book it in, it'll be fine. And then we'd like, Jesus Christ, we have no one like to play drums, bass, or like extra guitar. So we'd have to like frantically call our friends and be like, hi, are you busy on the 22nd? Because we need you to play a gig. And we've only got 2 rehearsals to do it.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Yeah, ended up being good, so
we
managed to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was just fun. It was just fun. It was a shambles, but it was a good time.
Yeah, the first show I did was, again, just like mutual friends had kind of put us in touch, and I was just kind of filling in, for fun. And I didn't know what I was doing either. I'd never played that. I'd been playing in a punk band, and I'd never played that kind of music before. I was just trying to hit as many bongos as I could. Just hitting random stuff. Couldn't remember the structures of the songs. But yeah, they asked me to play again. So
and she never left.
Never left.
And she's still here.
Wouldn't
Did you bring? Was it gingerbread you brought the first time you met?
Yes, Nick brought me some gingerbread.
A little gingerbread man from Sainsbury's. Hello, Sainsbury's.
That's when I knew. I was like, this chick's a keeper.
I'm a bit of a feeder in the band. I like to make sure everyone's eaten.
And painkillers as well. You're really up on the painkillers, like the ibuprofens and the paracetamols. You're really on that.
Yeah, and the health advice. I'm kind of the mum of the band.
Aww.
The mum and dad rolled into one.
With like the chaos of those initial shows, can you capitalize and like feed off the energy of that in any way?
Oh yeah, I love a chaotic show.
I think that's why they were just so fun, because we always just went in with no expectations, just like a wish to like be able to sort of get the song through, in one go. And I don't know, we were never afraid of what it would sound like or what would happen, I think, because we were always just so happy to be playing the music and just happy to be there and happy to be in this band. If something went wrong or if something just went a bit AWOL, it's like, who cares? At least we're having a good time.
Yeah, because that's kind of, you get that sense of the party atmosphere from the music that you've recorded, and when you kind of look at the KXP session and stuff, so that was very much something that was there from the off, that kind of laid back kind of party vibe to it.
Yeah, I don't think we ever take ourselves too serious. I think we're doing it because we think it's hilarious and it's fun, and I think the moment it stops being fun and hilarious, then I don't think this band's the same. I think it's really important that we always have fun, but also, I mean, we can hope it always is fun. But I think, we're just doing it for the love, and hopefully that's the energy that, people pick up on and make it feel like a party vibe, I guess.
How do you kind of catch that personality when you're in the studio?
It's just a laugh. I don't know. I think that comes down to the dynamic in the band. I think we just also such good friends that, we just, I don't know, it's just fun.
In the studio when we were doing it, Alex, our producer, he made sure that everything was tracked all together. I mean, of course, there's overdubs and stuff, but he was very adamant of really capturing us playing together, with that style in mind, like to have the energy together so you can actually capture that energy. And that, I think that's why the songs have turned out so good, because we've managed to get that little snapshot in time, with all of us being together in the room and capturing that.
I think we also captured a lot of elements that happens live in that, we have a really good friend, Kika, for example. She's at a lot of shows. So she's essentially our, I don't know, Los Bitchos Bez. She loves dancing and she tends to bring people, I don't know, encourage people to dance with her as well. And we actually had her come into the studio, and there was one point, I think we attached loads of percussion shells to her body. And then we made her dance to a track and like record it. So it was actually her body movement that then got like added to the track. So we did like fun things like that, just to kind of capture the energy and essence from live as well.
Do you know straight away when you have the take that's going to be the final one then? Or is it a little bit harder when it's not just about the technical aspect of it, but it's about capturing that kind of atmosphere too, which is a little bit more fluid, I guess?
I think we often have a good idea when there's been a good take that's felt really good.
It's usually a take where I shout at the end of it. I think that's actually left that in, I think, on one of the songs that's been released, and I'm like, oh my god. But it's like every take I'm like, yes.
So, we just wait to hear if Josie gives it her. Let's do
the approval.
It is a collective feeling, though. It's nice when you get those moments when all of us are just like, yes, God, that felt good, minus a little comp here and there. Yeah, that's such a nice feeling.
When did it first become, that you're saying that you're kind of all on the same page, when did it first become instinctive in that way in the live setting? And you were all kind of just feeding off each other?
Oh, man, I think it was the Relentless touring that we did last year. How silly of me. The year before, in 2000. Did I say last year? In 2019, we played so many shows, and it was just that playing together over and over and over and over again. And I found that especially Josie and Nick, they just knew what each other or how each other was playing, and it's that instinctive nature that really I think it really took the playing to another level, because you just get so used to everyone's feel. And I think when we reached that point, that's when we were really able to go into the studio and, make some good stuff, capitalize on that.
How many shows did you play last year?
Last year or?
No, I think we played 4.
I've done it as well.
We squeezed in 4 in January.
I think 2019, probably like, I don't know, it was a lot. And we went on tour for 2 weeks in November.
Oh, it was out of control.
I mean, I used up all my holiday from work for shows with the band pretty quickly, and I'd run out of leave by November and had to take like unpaid leave from work and just kind of beg my boss to be able to go on that tour in November. So it must have been, oh God, yeah. I dread to think.
I think it was like 3 times a month at least until like October, and then we went on tour with like 3 other bands, and there was like 20 shows more.
There was a couple of months period where every weekend we were away doing like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday tour supporting some other band, and then I'd be back at work on the Tuesday just absolutely dying.
That was
and end of all that, we went on tour for 2 weeks.
Festivities.
I had to go straight to work after that. I don't know how I did it. Like
all those 8 a.m. selfies after
we kept sending each other these like selfies of us, obviously like with bags under our eyes looking terrible. But there's that app on Instagram where you can do this like really large fake smile. We would just be like going around being like, yes, everything's fine. Just came back at 6 a.m. this morning and now I'm doing accounts. Yeah. Great.
But we miss that now.
Yeah.
Little do we
Yeah,
know.
blend me in, yeah.
I was actually I was looking back through all my old photos on my phone looking for something recently, and I found all these selfies of myself just looking like there. Obviously, like either when there's quite a few of me in my lift in my apartment block, having just got home from like dropping everyone at home. Got home at like 4 a.m, just looking so grim. God. Or like me in the morning, just walking to work. And we like to send each other selfies, just looking terrible.
Yeah. Just dying.
Like, solidarity.
The worst ones. You look absolutely dying. Like, they're awful.
Yeah. But we can't wait to do it again.
We should publish all of those in a book, like a little photo book.
A little zine. Sell at the merch desk.
Yeah, I like that. Good idea, Alex. Capitalize.
Did you play, was it a show on a ship last year as well? The HMS.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Or 2 years ago, rather.
Yeah, we did. What was that for?
It was a festival in Bristol. I can't remember what it was called. It was when I had a meltdown in the car park because I couldn't download that parking app.
Oh, yeah, God, that was...
We were running late.
And we did a radio show before that we were like playing some songs.
Oh, yeah, we
in a
did.
really weird place.
In an office building.
It was like a band.
Oh my God, don't tell people about this because I think it was probably horrendous. I think we pressed all the wrong buttons and we played all the wrong music, and then the guy who was like there it was on live, and we were like, oh my God, that's the worst.
Dead air time because we just kept messing it up.
I don't even know why we did we do another show after that as well, after the spaceship one?
We didn't say no to anything that year. We just did everything. We packed in so much stuff.
Yeah, that's true. If you wanted us to play, we'd be there.
I guess you kind of get a sense of momentum, do you?
Oh,
and once you say yes to one and it goes well, it kind of just starts to build.
And then our lovely booking agent, she's always really excited about shows that she books for us. She's like, oh, but this one's really good as well. And I know that this one might be a stretch, but this one's really fun as well. And you're just like, I just need to say yes, because it's like in case, it is amazing. You just don't want to miss out on it,
When you're playing that many shows, do you still have like a specific memory attached to each one, or do they kind of start to blend a little bit?
I mean, some of them have like amazing, obviously, anecdotes and stuff that happens. Like we have a lot of internal jokes. It's quite like insane. So like we have a lot of little stories that we only find funny, but a lot of them just blend, I guess. Hangovers and playing a lot.
Yeah. There are ones that do stick out, but I guess I don't know. I think I've got a pretty good memory.
I'd say a healthy mix of blending and standing out. There might be some blends in there, but usually everything, I don't know, every show we've done, there's been some sort of memorable something that's happened in a good way.
Or even if it wasn't good at the time, it's funny now.
Yeah, it's hilarious now.
Sarah, the first time that you were on stage as well, you were 3 or 4 with a violin?
Me? Yes. Very, very small.
Yeah,
my mum just...
your first performance?
I thought you were talking about the Los Bitchos show. I was like, there's no violin in this band.
When you were
when I was 4, yes, very young. My mother just, I think she did it to... I'm not sure if my brother started that young, but my mum, just set me straight into violin. But I thank her dearly for that.
What do you remember about that first time on stage with the violin?
Okay, I definitely do remember that. It's so weird. I can't remember anything, but I remember, so I had to do these like positions on the violin. It's actually pretty lame if you think about it, but this was my concert. So I just like, my violin teacher got me to do positions on the violin. And then it was like these bow games that she got me to do, like with the bow of the violin. Weird, I know it doesn't make any sense, but that was the performance. And everyone was like, oh, isn't that nice? Oh, well done, Sarah. And I was like, it's only something a mother could enjoy, I think. Like, I don't know what I was doing. But she used to my mum actually would like enroll me in these competitions in Perth. and like I'd have to go and play by myself like a whole entire violin concerto. Like, I don't know, I'd already be like 7 or 8 or something, and they'd just make me go out. Oh God, it used to be so scary. Oh, yeah. God, I'm only just remembering that now. They were so boring as well. Everyone else's performance was a bit subpar from my memory, to be honest with you.
Does that get rid of stage fright, having that exposure to it at such a young early age?
Actually, yeah, because now I'm just like, whatever. I still get a little nervy, but, you know, in a good way.
Yeah, you need a little bit of nerves.
Yeah, some little bit of zing-zang.
Josie, you were on TV as well at quite an early age, weren't you? Swedish TV at 10.
Are you referring to me standing
That's the
on
best story ever.
Best
Maybe.
TV moment ever.
Actually, wait, I got a
opinion.
picture of it right now. Wait. Yeah, I got a picture of Josie in 2 points on my bedroom. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
That's quite impressive.
Thank God.
It's amazing. It's an amazing bit of footage. Josie, you got to send it to Alex because it's so cool.
Yeah.
There is a video of it somewhere,
We'll find it.
but I think it's But it's quite interesting little childhood or whatever my parents taught me to do. So I grew up on a pony riding school for children, and so we're talking like very, very small ponies here, the smallest kind, the Shetland ponies. But anyway, it was a performance that I got roped into happily at the age of 10. But yeah, it was fun. I think that helped with stage fright as well. I was well up for it.
Did you grow up in the same town like the whole way through in your childhood?
Yeah, I did. I stayed there until I was 18, and then I moved to London to study music.
Was that the same town as Leah Emery, who was in your other band?
Oh my God, yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, so me and Leah was in that horse show as well.
And it's sister.
It wasn't just me. We grew up in the same hometown, and I've known her since I was about 6 years old. And that's how we met. We rode those little Shetland ponies at the same time. So yeah, that's right, the same one. And
she was in Kid Wave, that was your previous band, right?
Yeah, I was playing drums. Yeah, so that's how I met Josie, through Leah. Leah was actually a student at the same music school that I went to, but I was a teacher at that time because Leah's a little bit younger than me. So I ended up meeting Leah through the school, and then got to meet Josie through Leah, which is great. And obviously toured and formed a band with Leah many years ago. It was great.
Did you all go to music school, or did you all kind of come at it from different angles?
No, I didn't go to music school. I had a few drum lessons. I learned orchestral percussion at school. Yeah, I had drum lessons for a few years as a teenager. That's kind of where my formal music education ended.
Same.
Sarah teaches me little bits and pieces.
Yeah. Same.
The Sarah Patali School of Music.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Nothing by doing.
I think sometimes, if anything, though, the best practice is really just playing and doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like, whatever I learned in school, that's great because it gets you going, but I don't know. You don't need a music degree to play in a band. You just need a bit of interest and drive to do it, I suppose. If you want to do it, you will. You will learn it.
I actually came to a music school in the UK just because purely I didn't know anybody here, so I just wanted to meet new people.
That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. So I'm moving to a country I don't know anyone. And I think going to music school, because it's my interest, I think was a really good move because I obviously met people with the same interest and really socialise with, because that was kind of my fun year after school, like a gap year. But then I obviously ended up staying and doing music. But just socially, I think it was the main motivation, to be honest.
It's interesting that there's kind of a mix of backgrounds in the band in terms of like formal training and kind of just learning it yourself, because when you think about the music and the kind of flow of it in the structure, it very much it kind of moves through section in quite a free flowing way, How much of that is down to structuring it out and how much is down to kind of just going with the feel of it and where it takes you?
So much feel. I'd say a lot of it really is feel. Because the songs, especially when we first started doing them, because there's no lyrics, it was quite difficult to, sort of do like a generic, like your sort of generic pop song structure, which does help though, actually, now that we found, just to actually try and like set out a sort of structure. But no, a lot of it's from feel. I'd say most of it would be just purely because we didn't really know what we're doing. Know a little bit more now, but it's just what feels good. I mean, if I'm working on an idea or something, it sounds a bit cliche, but whatever, I'm going to say it. It's just the feeling. It's the way that it makes me feel. And if I can actually invoke something that makes me feel something, I know that that's an idea that might work with something. But, it's just a bit blasé, or if I'm overthinking it too much, it just takes the fun and magic out of it, I think.
You were saying that obviously the music doesn't have lyrics. Is it easier to kind of go with the feel when you don't have them there restricting you?
For me anyway. I'm a terrible lyricist and I'm a terrible top line writer. I don't have any skill in those two areas. Don't know if that's the same.
Oh, your guitar top line.
Yeah, but like I can only do it on guitar. I cannot, like if someone's like, Sarah, can you just, hum a little something over that? I'd be like, nah,
I
can't do it. No. All right, challenge accepted. Well, we'll see. We'll see when the solo album comes out.
Does melody ever come to you then when you're away from an instrument, or do you have to be at one as a result of
that? No, both for me. I mean, I think a lot of the best ideas just happen when you're just not even thinking about having an idea. Something will just come to you, or maybe you'll hear actually something that like the most poignant time that happened to me last year. A friend of ours, I heard him playing. He wasn't even doing a song. Actually, it was our friend Charles. He's in a band called the Flamingos, and he just put up this video on Facebook. And he was just jamming. I think it was just to a backing track or something. It wasn't even a song. And something about the backing track that he was playing along to, just doing a little bit of noodling. I remember that I couldn't get it out of my mind. It just sparked this idea. It's the Talkie Talkie Charlie Charlie demo I sent to you guys. That one.
It's a banger.
Yeah, it felt really good. Like as soon as I got it, I was like, yeah, I think this could be something we could do down the line. Maybe it'll come out on album number 2. Who knows?
It's interesting as what we were saying about lyrics a little while back, because The Link Is About to Die originally had lyrics.
Yeah, it did. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So, like, no one gave that song any attention when I first uploaded that. I mean, given it was just little old me doing it, and, like, I just chucked it on YouTube. I think I was just so done with life at that stage, so I was just like, whatever, I'm putting it up. And I did. I don't think the vocal melody is that bad on it, but yeah, it got nothing. And now that I
do
took
like vocals though.
Pardon?
I think it looks good in our songs. Like it sounds good to put some vocals and put some deranged stuff. I really enjoyed that part of doing the song. I think like just putting anything you feel like on a song, even if you're saying like, I don't know, I like a cow, whatever. I just enjoy doing it. And I think it's good that we're putting some vocals on some songs because it's just fun.
It is. I agree.
And it makes also people, when we're playing, it makes them like also connect in another level that they know if we're saying one word, they will say with us or whatever.
That's an easy lyric to learn.
Like a cow. Makes no sense. But whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Can you send over the idea and bounce it down?
I will.
How does it work as well when you're doing something like Trapdoor, and you've kind of got to rework that? What does that teach you about your soundscape when you're taking someone else's song and kind of adding your flavour to it?
Actually, Trapdoor was pretty interesting because I was definitely new to the whole Cumbia thing. Like, I only really got that information off Agustina, to be honest with you, and her other gorgeous Uruguayan friends. Like, they're the ones that, introduced all of us to it. But it was interesting in the sense that, we had to take this, it's like a pretty krautrock type song. We had to take it and sort of envision what a cumbia production would be like to try and make the hooks work, and then to try and blend ourselves into it. That was it was an interesting lesson, but it taught me a lot about cumbia production and, I don't know, just where we could go with our cover songs, because it could be a little bit difficult with verses and stuff if you're not sort of noodling around a little bit. But we managed to blend some of our tunes, our guitar lines into that, and just were able to keep the trapdoor rhetoric going.
When you initially heard it, did you have a pretty clear picture of where you wanted it to go, or was it something that you kind of had to work through and experiment with?
Work through and experiment big time. No idea. It came quite quickly though. I remember working it, but yeah, just had to. There was a lot of cursing and a lot of deleting and a lot of things that you didn't see.
Did it shift when you played it in a room together for the first time and kind of brought it into that setting to work through it? Actually,
the whole thing was done at home. I don't think. I guess, when did we even start playing that live? Because I don't think we ever worked it out in a room. It was all just done at home.
It was released before playing it as a group.
Yeah. And it was at the beginning of the band, like 2017, June, July, no more than that.
It was one of our first releases, actually. Yeah, but what the actual performance that you hear, that's all on the computer.
We have just actually recorded another reworked cover.
Yes, all of us together.
Which is going to come out soon, which will be really fun.
So the idea is usually pretty complete by the time they're brought to the band then? If you're saying that was kind of all done at home?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying things can't change, but yes, for some of I'd say for some of those types of, for the songs that maybe we haven't reworked to put on the album, but a lot of the songs have changed a lot from the sense of when we first were just playing them, and now when we work through them with Alex and then we're putting them on the album. That was a good example of us working the songs together, and everyone having their input on that. But you'll have to wait for the album to come out.
Did that make it easier then when, like what we were saying earlier about how you had to track it in a room if the songs were pretty complete when you were heading in and you had a clear picture of them in your head? Does that make it easier to just kind of relax in that space and let the energy flow?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we knew exactly what we were going to play going into the studio. Everything was like, we rehearsed everything a lot before going in so that we could kind of just enjoy playing in the studio and kind of focus on the vibe, I guess. We messed around a lot with stuff like percussion in the studio, but I think even then, like, we had a good idea of what we wanted to put on there.
There wasn't a lot of staffing.
No, we were pretty efficient.
So were the conversations that you were sharing with Alex about producing it then more about how you wanted it to sound as opposed to the songs themselves? Like the actual kind of feel of the individual songs that you're saying there, you were kind of playing around with percussion a little bit?
I mean, Alex had a pretty good, he himself, because he's got such a wide range of musical knowledge, specifically for cumbia as well. So he had a pretty good idea of how he could push the sound as well. I remember him noodling around a lot with that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very much involved as well. It's a pre-production before going into the studio to ensure that we would be just knowing exactly what we're doing the day we do go in. So he attended a few rehearsals and worked on the track sort of over a period of time before actually going into the studio. So I think that's what made us all sort of super prepared to just go in and just have fun.
In terms of the sound, I've said
recording it
since the beginning that I just want everything to sound like 80s gated reverb, Van Halen pop, 80s pop, whatever. That's what I'd like to hear. Had you
done singles with him before you kind of went to work on the record together?
Yeah, we did the two singles. How long was that before we actually recorded the rest of the album? 6 months?
That was June.
Yeah, about 6 months before we went into the studio to record the rest of the album. We did the two singles. So that was kind of a good, like, I guess it was good to kind of, I guess it worked so well with the combination of people and the team that we had doing those singles that I mean, we were always keen to do the album with him as well.
Yeah, it's nice when you've got the foundations there as well.
Exactly. We'd kind of already been in as a group and done these 2 singles, so going in to do the whole album felt like, I guess, a bit less daunting.
What was the most impactful conversation you shared with him as a producer during that process in regards to your music that kind of stuck with you?
He had a lot of wise words to tell us. You could tell he's full of experience.
There were a lot of conversations about preparation and rehearsing and being, putting in the work before actually going into the studio. I think he had a lot of advice around that side of things, which was really helpful.
I learned a lot about editing, how to get the most out of your song in a nice, succinct manner. I do like to fast a lot in terms of the way I speak, and also sometimes with the demos that would come out. I don't know, what I personally took away is just how to edit and structure things. I think his advice on that was really, 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 really powerful. It was sometimes a little bit hard to stomach because, I like to leave things in and I like things to run all the time and busy productions and stuff. But he explains things in such a clear way, the end product always ends up being great. But yeah, he had a lot of good advice to give on that.
He is a little bit of an Obi-Wan Kenobi type figure.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
When you take something out of a song like that and you kind of layers in there, about not faffing and keeping it fairly refined, how does that impact the energy of it and the kind of momentum of it when you're playing it?
Usually it adds to the energy and momentum because he's taken off the things that aren't quite necessary, usually, to make it more effective and to make it more, more easier to connect with. So I think actually, the changes, he also made us feel like it was kind of our idea, which was really clever of him, like in the way he went about it. It's like, have you thought about this? And then, have you thought, what if you do that? What happens then? And then you're like, oh. So I don't know, it all felt just such an improvement. It was so nice to have him on board. So general, just more energy and more positivity around the songs, I'd say.
How quickly are you recording as a group when you're in there? What's the rhythm of your workflow kind of like in the studio?
Oh, so good. And with that ukulele track we did, the cover song, one day.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah, we're doing good.
That was just one song. But
yeah. That's what I prefer.
I think again that comes down to preparation. I think if you're going confident, there shouldn't really be any major drama.
Is Lindsey Goes to Mechanos, is that one of the tracks on the record?
Yes.
How did Lindsey Lohan inspire that song?
Because the song is kind of like, starts really like quiet and then it goes a little like, oh, then quiet again. And at the end it's just like, so like, it just reminded me of Lindsey Lohan's life. And we just decided to put at the end, same mistake in vocals because like she keeps doing the same stuff. So we love you, Lindsey.
We love Lindsey Lohan so much. We have the utmost respect for her.
But it was inspired like, in her life, in like the media, how they treat her, everything. I don't know.
It's true. It's a very coherent journey of Miss Lindsey Lohan's career, and it was started by Agustina. I wish I still had this. I don't know where this idea is, but Agustina sent this like.
I think I have it.
Do you? Okay, well, please send it again. But yeah, Agustina sends this deranged demo song. Like it was just an idea on the keyboard, I think. I can't even remember. But yeah, there was that line. That was so great. And yeah, it just came from an idea Agustina sent over. And at the time, I think Lindsey had just launched this car crash of a reality TV show.
Yeah,
where she's
that's why it's called like that too, because of the reality.
Yeah, and we were obsessed with. Obviously, we were losing our minds over this. But yeah, honestly, it was just she was a hot flavor for us at the time. We were looking at all of her movies, and yeah, it was just what we were feeling.
Is.
Oh, absolutely! But like, we were really into
forever and ever.
I feel like our obsession was really peak at that time, though.
Yeah.
She had stuff coming out.
Matt DeMarco is someone else who kind of comes to mind as a character in a similar vein. Is he as zany in person and on stage as is to be believed?
Yeah.
He's a zany character. He is.
Lovely man.
He's funny.
He
Yeah.
is. Everyone on that tour was so lovely, to be honest.
Yeah, his entire band is just lovely humans.
Yeah.
The nicest people to tour with.
Oh.
Were you crowd surfing on that tour?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, Nick.
It was the
That's
best.
so good.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Nick's crowd set was class.
I think like
It was so good.
we were in Dublin. We had a conversation maybe the night before, because he obviously used to do a lot of crowd surfing, but we hadn't seen him crowd surf yet on the tour. And I was like, oh, and he was like, oh, I don't do that anymore. And then we ended up joining them for an encore at the end of the night, playing Tequila. And yeah, I just thought, do you know what? This is a really great crowd. I'm going for a crowd surf. So I went in, and then I kind of looked back at him from the crowd and was like, come on. And yeah, shoes came off.
And
then we all
also,
joined.
A bit of a theme for the tour.
Nick, you forget to say that you were in time perfectly with a cowbell, the whole, or like a woodblock or something. You were playing during the crowd surfing. It was amazing.
It was so good.
It was my favourite moment of 2019.
Yeah, I love crowd surfing, and I hadn't done it for a long time. And yeah, I couldn't pass up the opportunity.
It was my first time, actually.
When was the last time you crowd surfed prior to that?
Prior to that, I don't know actually. I used to crowd surf a lot. I used to play in this punk band, and we used to always seem to be crowd surfing, like either whether it was during our own set or bands that we were playing with. I don't know. It just kind of became a bit of a thing. Like even if there were only 10 people in the audience, we'd be like, right, crowd surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just always loved it. I think maybe because I'm really tall. I'm like 6'1", and so when I was younger, I always thought, oh, I'm too big to crowd surf. I'm not like one of those tiny people that can crowd surf. And then I was like, no, I'm doing it anyway. And yeah, I can just kind of make like a pencil and making my body really straight. Apparently, when I was a baby, my mum always says I never like to be cuddled. So I would just like extend myself out and arch my back.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's a nice thing.
I've never actually crowd surfed. Like I've been in bands since I was like 15, punk bands and very sweaty, messy gigs, but I've never made it to the crowd surf.
Next gig back, mate. First gig back.
Yes.
No, but you know what it is? I think I know. I think I'm a little bit too shy. I'm like, oh, I want to, but I'm not doing it. It's the same thing. Like when I go swimming, I'm like standing on the pool side and don't really want to go in. But then if someone pushes me in, I actually really enjoy it. And I think
You need to do it.
I
love it.
Yeah,
we'll push you in
We'll
next
push
time.
you in.
With no warning. It's going to end up well.
I hope there's more than like 2 people, please. Disaster.
Speaking of, swimming and surfing and those sorts of activities, Sarah, what do you remember about the song Shark Attack?
How the hell did you find that? How did you find that
Can't
song?
possibly comment.
How did you find that song?
I don't have to worry about what you might have unearthed about me.
No, I'm super. I love that song. This was like my first. So this was my first proper drum recording ever with like my old, like it was like the first band I was ever in. We were called John and the Inverarities. It was me and some dudes from the college I was living at, and yeah, we made this song called Shark Attack. Seriously, Alex, how did you find that? Is it online?
The song isn't, but it's kicking about. There's word of it. There's rumors of it.
Ooh, I have to. It's a great song. I didn't write it, but someone else did, and they did a great job. I just had a great time playing drums. Shark Attack. It's a feed and frenzy. Yeah, I remember. Very Australian, quintessential Aussie college rock.
sounds like a theme tune to like Saved by the Bell or something, but Australian.
It definitely could be. We should have been more savvy, but unfortunately we just weren't.
It's interesting because it's something we've touched on a few times, that this isn't any of your first time in a band. You've all had previous projects before. Mm-hmm. How did that impact what you approached this initially and what you wanted this band to be and what you wanted to do with it?
I think we didn't plan much. That's the thing. Like I don't know, at the beginning it was more like a fun thing, and then it just became gigs, and I don't know, it just transformed in everything that is now. But we never planned too much.
I think I agree. I think not planning, definitely attempting to take it as it comes. That was definitely something we all brought to the table. No one's expecting anything or pushing anything or doing anything to go into certain directions. From being in bands and stuff in the past, where maybe sometimes things could, other factors can affect what's happening in the band, But with this, I think it's just the freedom. Just whatever. That's it.
That's
whatever. Like that.
Had you felt this free in a band before, or is this the freest you've kind of ever felt as a terms of musical expression?
Yeah, no. I mean, I was in a punk band too, and I was a singer, and I just had to yell a lot. So I feel quite free, to be honest. It was quite.
Now it's cards.
I was young and rebel or whatever I was trying to be. That was a lot of freedom, but I think this band has a lot of freedom also because we really respect each other and we respect our ideas. That give us a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I mean, was that?
It was too cheesy,
Sorry,
maybe.
we're all just loving each other hard. We're like, oh no, I love you. No, I respect you. Oh God.
Do pressures emerge anywhere there, or does it feel like a completely pressureless environment?
Oh, pressureless. To actually create the music is pressureless because it's so fun to make. For me personally, just not having to write lyrics or words, that stuff makes it all the more fun for me. When I used to attempt to do that, I found it very stressful because I couldn't do it. I felt I couldn't do it.
I think there's definitely there are times where we're working on something and we all get really in a zone, and I think we're all really hard workers. We have a lot of fun, but it's not the same as pressure. It doesn't feel like pressure. It just feels like we want to get the best out of something. When we're developing the songs and when we're rehearsing for an important show, but I don't think I wouldn't describe that as pressure.
I think we do put some pressure on ourselves, but it's not a pressure from the outside of the band. And I think that's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't feel like pressure in the sense you usually talk about pressure, but I think, yeah, we do put a bit of pressure on ourselves to be our best. But I don't know. It usually just comes from a place of joy and fun and wanting to make the best out of what we do.
Is that the same what you were saying as well there, Nick, about how you do put in the hard work? Is that something that more just comes naturally and isn't like a conscious thing? Does it just come naturally from the process?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's not something that needs to be forced in any way. We all have so much fun doing this band and we just want to make the best of it.
That's the moment that you sort of start feeling forced, that's when you're just not going to go or turn up. It's like, I mean, we're all adults here. It's like no one's pushing us to be there. There's no one else, it's like, oh, if you're not there, if you don't do this, this will happen. It's all just, it comes from the heart. We work hard because we want to work hard and we want things to be the best that they can be. But it comes from the heart. That's where it starts.
Yeah. I think that's quite a nice note to bring us to a close. But just before we go, Augustina, was your grandfather a real life cowboy?
Yes, he was. Back in Uruguay. Yeah. Obviously, he grew up we call them gauchos, just super similar to cowboys. He was born in a farm and lived all his life in a farm and had horses and was around. He loved horses a lot. He gave me that love for horses too. And yeah, he was just a really natural, amazing man. Lived like a cowboy.
Much like Josie, You have
doesn't
a
have to.
relationship with them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me and Agustina bond
Yeah.
a lot about our love for
Yeah, we do.
horses. It's a big topic.